Two Chinese scientists have just been branded as terrorists, not for bombs, not for weapons, but for carrying common research samples already found in American soil. They now face 20 years in prison. Their arrest is not about crops or national security. It is about staging a Cold War show trial, to manufacture fear, to demonize China, to prepare the American public for war. By the end of this video, you will see how criminal law is being used as theatre to sell confrontation abroad, and why that threatens your rights, your safety, and the very principles of democracy here at home. Welcome to the Progressive Wave, a home for truth, a force of resistance, and a promise of no compromise. Subscribe now, join a movement that refuses war propaganda and defends justice. Let's begin with the case itself. Prosecutors claim that Yuning Jian and Cheng Shran Han smuggled dangerous pathogens into the United States. The headlines scream, agro-terrorism. But plant pathologists tell a different story. The fungus in question has lived in American soil for over 120 years. It is not on the federal list of agro-terror agents. Experts say it is already widespread, manageable, and nowhere near the threat painted by the Department of Justice. These researchers were working to prevent crop damage, not cause it. So why the terror label? To frighten you, to frame a narrative, to turn ordinary science into a Hollywood script. Now ask yourself, if this were truly about national security, why is the evidence so thin? Why are the experts contradicting the prosecutors? Comment below. Do you think these scientists are scapegoats, yes or no? This is not the first time we've seen this play. The so-called China Initiative, launched in the Trump era, investigated hundreds of Chinese scientists. Lives were ruined, reputations destroyed, families broken, and yet, despite the spectacle, the conviction rate was a fraction of normal Department of Justice cases. 91% of prosecutions normally end in conviction. Under the China Initiative, barely 25%. This is McCarthyism in a lab coat, law turned into propaganda. While you are distracted by mugshots of scientists, military planners are redrawing maps. Reports out of Seoul show talk of expanding United States Forces Korea into a broader Pacific force aimed squarely at China. Meanwhile, Washington and Tokyo have already run war games that include the use of nuclear weapons in East Asia. Let that sink in. Not just deterrence, actual scenarios of a first strike, followed by memos on how to manage the public relations fallout. Does that sound like security, or like a slow walk into catastrophe? At the same time, China is tightening control over critical minerals, the rare earths that power jet engines, missiles, smartphones. Western defense companies report delays, shortages, and skyrocketing prices. Samarium, a metal used in fighter jet magnets, was offered at 60 times its normal price. The Wall Street Journal confirms it. The Financial Times confirms it. And yet, instead of investing in real supply chain solutions, American leaders handcuff postdocs and call it victory. Arrests are not strategy. Scapegoating is not strength. Universities should be defending their scholars, not abandoning them. Code Pink and local activists delivered thousands of signatures to the University of Michigan, demanding that it stand with its scientists. The question is simple. Will universities protect academic freedom, or will they bow to political theatre? If you believe universities must defend their students and faculty, comment "Protect Science" below. Meanwhile, the hypocrisy spreads abroad. In Taiwan, the ruling party tried to stage mass recalls of opposition lawmakers, an undemocratic stunt meant to silence critics. Voters rejected it in every single race. People there resisted the manipulation. But here, in America, too many still accept the idea that scientists with soil roundworms and crop fungus are somehow existential threats. Fear is being manufactured for you. Will you swallow it, or will you spit it out? This is where values meet reality. We say we believe in democracy, equality, compassion, but when those words are tested, do we act? When Asian scientists are painted as villains for bureaucratic mistakes, when nuclear war games are gamed out in secret rooms, when universities betray the very principles of curiosity and discovery, our values are on trial too. Short and simple, no new Cold War, no old mistakes. Food security is real. Agro-terror panic is not. Scientific collaboration, peer review, data sharing, international research, does more to protect crops than criminal trials. Yet instead of funding science, we fund suspicion. Instead of de-escalation, we prepare for escalation. Instead of justice, we script fear. Ask yourself, how many rights do we burn to light the path to a wider war? By now, the pattern is clear. These arrests are not isolated mistakes. They are part of a broader effort to demonize China, to frighten Asian Americans, to soften public resistance to military escalation. Just as the Red Scare ruined lives in the 1950s, just as Japanese Americans were imprisoned during World War II, history repeats with different faces and the same cruelty. The two young women at the center of this case do not look like terrorists. Their eyes show bewilderment, confusion, heartbreak. They came here to research, to contribute, to help prevent crop loss, and now they face 20 years in prison. What message does that send to the world? That the United States is not a safe place for scholars. That intellectual freedom is expendable. That fear is more useful than facts. If this shocked you, comment below. Share this with one person who trusts you. Because this case is not about fungus in a petri dish, it is about planting the seeds of a new Cold War. And if we do not resist, those seeds will grow into barbed wire, into war games, into real war. This is the progressive wave. Truth, resistance, and no compromise. Like, share, and subscribe before silence becomes complicity.